At the end of each year, between Christmas and New Year's Day, more than 30,000 people camp in the lush green hills, 100 kilometres north of Brisbane. It's an annual pilgrimage, a time of once again meeting with others in shared celebrations. An enormous tent city fosters many events of art and ritual, as well as hosting venues for inquiry and discussions about important issues in our society. It is a time for community, to put aside everyday concerns, and for nurturing the soul in all of us.
I think what I've seen here, particularly at this festival that I'm at today, is there is a willingness to open your heart. There's actually a willingness to learn, not only to open your heart, but to open your mind. And I look around and see a lot of young people at yoga who look like perhaps this might be their first yoga, or it could be, someone's first opportunity to see something, or to experience meditation, for instance, or drumming, or just having an experience. So I see that each festival has its own spirit, and there'll be many spirits within that, but there's a common spirit. Definitely it's a connection with yourself, and it begins and ends there. But it's also when you allow that connection with yourself through the music, through the sound, or through the words, or through whatever you're experiencing within the festival, when you're doing something perhaps out of your comfort zone, it's like you open a door, you open a portal to something, to discover something. And I think part of that discovery is oneness, that within that moment of stepping out of your comfort zone, moment of courage, moment of willingness, that we find that common denominator is within everybody, not just us. And suddenly it's like, well, everybody else is doing this too. And to me that is oneness, when we have a sense of I belong, a sense of common purpose.
Being with the choir, I wanted to be part of something bigger than me, because that's what life's about. It's about being bigger, in a bigger picture than the picture that I create in my own life. And the choir is just beautiful for that.
When it comes to spiritual matters, we may never ever see eye to eye. There are so many different opinions and points of views and experiences, but we can see heart to heart. And I think that's what happens at these festivals, is that people come and they have different points of view, and they're not trying to change anybody's path, but they share heart energy, and they come together in their hearts. And I think there's a kind of critical mass that's being created as people continue to come to these kinds of gatherings, because they're already open. And so there's this interchange that's taking place. And they come to this festival and they go back home and they take what they've received, they take it back and they share it in the form of music or art or whatever they've gathered, and the experience. And that way it's expanding this sense that we are all in this together.
Hold on, freedom's name is mighty sweet. One of these days we're gonna meet. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on.
It is a special kind of audience and crowd, and I think people come here, they're partly leaving behind, the challenges that they've got during the year with workplace, families, professions, careers, whatever they've got on their plate that's tough for them to get through. They can leave that behind a little bit and come here and, in a sense, draw in on the spirit of the place and the kinds of things that Bill and the Federation and others are trying to do. And it means that when they listen to performers play, they're listening with quite open ears and in quite a relaxed sort of heart, and that's always good, I think, for any performer to play to an audience like that.
I think it's why musicians continue to play music, for that moment where there's a connection between what you do on stage and connecting to another person, to the point of like laughter or tears, or something that they just take, an experience that they take away, chills head to their toes, those kinds of things. Yeah, when you can affect someone and just like be on the same level as someone. I think that's the most amazing thing about music. That's why we do it.
The one thing we have lost in life is that village feel, living in a village. And to come here for 7 days and be able to do that in a very appropriate period after Christmas into the new year. I think it's that yearning, the yearning to be able to live like this for the rest of the year, because you are living very close to the elements as well. I think it's absolutely fantastic. There is a sense of God, because everyone is here for one purpose, and that is to enjoy life to the optimum. Enjoying life does not mean abusing it. You know, drugs, alcohol and all that, that's abusing life. Here it is to enjoy the fullness of life with the music around you, with the camaraderie around you, with fellow musicians, with those people who have come here with one specific purpose in mind. They want to uplift their soul through music. And I revel in it because my music is about uplifting the soul anyway.
Experiences like this tend to make people think, first of all, and that's just about the most important thing that can happen in the community, to get people thinking about issues and culture, the things that unite them. And I think people do go away from here with a sort of more positive attitude about their country. And you just have to come to a festival like this and see the warm interaction between so many people of different backgrounds, and the way in which they tend to sort of sink their own concerns, slough them off, and get involved in the activities of other people, and appreciate the wide range of different capacities that exist within the community. As I say, you can't measure this sort of thing, but there's no doubt it's real, very real.
Spirit here is amazing. There is a if I can reflect onto my faith, we have everything here is we are all a part of the Creator or the creation, and Woodford is the essence of that, because we walk, we don't know anybody, but we all know everybody. There are thousands of eyes, yet we're all one eye. There are thousands of voices, but we have the one voice, and this is exactly what our faith believes, and it's like a living. It's just living. It's not something that's not here. You have to be here to feel it. It's an injection for a year. Everybody smiles here. It's an amazing place.
In Australian society, you can actually watch the figures of people who attend traditional religious services go down each year. So what we're doing is throwing the whole issue of spiritual exploration back on the individual, away from social organizations that represent religion. When it's back on the individual lives in a very commodified world. And so what do? Well, they go around and they shop until they drop for the right spiritual outlook, the shoe that fits, as it were. And any festival or any other activity can serve as a means of exploring personal spirituality by the individual in this way. So at the end of the day, we could say, if not necessarily replacing traditional religions, such spirituality as found in forms like festivals certainly has the potential to nudge out traditional forms of spiritual pursuit.
It's a very spiritual place.
without being a religious place. It means that people understand what the human spirit is all about, which means there's an acceptance. It's more than tolerance, it's an acceptance. I mean, tolerance is one thing, acceptance without condition is another again. And that's what I think this place embodies too.